Jones wants to,
Whoa.
don't know what's going to happen, but in case Jones wants to see what happens, or in case Hunter wants to see the visuals,
Right.
be available. All right. So when we last left our heroes, you had cleaned the mind flayers from the Hill Giants basement. You parlayed with the Hill Giants, got some giant history from them, and also discussed with them. Once you made friends with them, they said, "Okay, if you get us food from somewhere else, we'll stop attacking the city." And you learned that they had been invited to attack the city by the representative of someone known as X. Leaving the Hill Giant stronghold, you stopped by Ariel's old stomping grounds where you met his pregnant wife, much to many people's surprise. And learned that some of the established churches were losing members because, well, if you can't protect us from Hill Giants, what good are you? And then as you made your way to the refugee camp from Baldur's Gate, you met someone with a new spiritual affiliation, Pekla Rabak, that said, "Oh, just have positive thoughts, and the giants won't kill you." Moving on from that, you went to meet with the leaders of the city, and your discussions were interrupted by your old friend Morgie, who said, "Hey, I'll give the giants pies for a full year. That'll keep them away from your city. All I want is the souls you stole from me." Brambrek smashed one in an attempt at negotiation, but you eventually gave her Strahd's soul and the other two, and made the deal. She then made cryptic comments about one of you being the cause of all this, but declined to elaborate. And even Neil's mind reading, her mind was not a nice place to be. So you didn't get a lot. And then you discussed with the Baldur's Gate leaders the situation of Baldur's Gate. And it sounds like the town has been taken over by a criminal organization. And after a lot of hemming and hawing, you learned they think it's led by Xanathar, a beholder crime lord, pictured on the cover of that book. So I believe that's where we left things. And Khalifa was talking about going to the library and researching. And so that's where we left things.
Is Margie still around?
I mean, well, she wouldn't be, except that you weren't there last week. So tell me what you want.
I was thinking, could I try to charm her?
No.
Okay.
She's gone.
All right.
If you had a question for her or something, that'd be one thing.
All right.
You did read her thoughts, though.
You did read your thoughts. There
saw an image of Thrax's blood or something like that, I think.
Okay.
She's really into Thrax's blood.
Who isn't? The vampires were.
True.
Werewolves used to be.
The vampires reacted strongly every time they bit Thrax, if you remember.
Oh. Sense of deep, dark secret.
Okay.
Recall, did we decide to walk to Baldur's Gate or were we teleporting? And there was also discussion of Khalifa going to Candlekeep to do some research, and maybe me or one other person going with him as potential protection in case there were giants.
Well, if we're gonna teleport anyway, I could just teleport us all to Candlekeep and then teleport us all to Baldur's Gate. I don't think I need too long to just try to rifle through some of their texts. How many guests?
Well, I'll be real quick at the library. I've heard that one so many times.
Yeah. Well, that's where he makes his good friends at the library.
But if you guys wanted to walk to escort some of the citizens that were headed back towards Baldur's Gate, it sounded like it was going to take more than 2 days with the whole entourage of townspeople, right, Jay, or no?
Yeah, I mean, the bulk of the city will take a while to walk back. If you're walking just on your own, it'll take 2 days.
Yeah, I don't think we're walking back with the city. Like, they wanted to send us as an advance party to make sure the giants had held up their end of the deal and cleared out.
Well, Khalifa really thinks this library thing is a good idea, but John is open to being talks to about it if we don't think that's useful. Because I don't know really what information we're going to glean, except that the only person among us that knew anything about the illithid was Ariel, right? And you had thought that they were just. No, I don't think John does know about illithid, but I don't think Khalifa had heard anything more than just like rumors and stories about them. And so he doesn't really know how they operate or anything.
Well, if we're speaking
that's
out of
why-
character, I mean, you gave me time to prep stuff, so I prepped stuff.
Yeah. So I think, Khalifa is interested in going over there, and I don't know if anyone thinks that's a waste of time, but I think that would be at least something that we could get some exposition and maybe some ideas on how to hunt them down and how to hunt down the storm giant fortress.
Drax and I feel that all of your time spent in libraries is a waste.
And Ariel just wants to find Cooper Black, but I guess he does frequent libraries, so maybe we could go there.
It seems silly for us, part of us, to walk to Baldur's Gate and then wait for him or whatever. It seems like if we all go
Right.
to Candlekeep and then
It is
we all-
heart healthy.
It is heart healthy.
Unless Ariel wanted to go back and spend some time with his wife before heading over, I don't know, but it's not exactly on the way, is it? I don't think so.
Don't phrase it like that.
Should we, does everyone agree? Should we just head there as a first thing and then head back to Baldur's Gate? I mean, I know we want to get to all these other cities that are overrun with giants, but Baldur's Gate's like right here. And now we've kind of done part of the legwork on getting the city free, but there's still this crime syndicate before getting it back to a steady state.
Yes. Let's go to the library, do a little research, and then go to Baldur's Gate.
Unless we find out
Boom.
something about storm giants while we're there.
All right. So
Excellent.
all 8 of you are going to the library?
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Great. It's like late afternoon now. Are you going now or are you going tomorrow morning?
No, let's just go now. I'm gonna burn the midnight oil and
Okay.
start studying tonight. Save time. These guys can crash once they get there or look around, whatever. But I'm gonna be hitting the books.
Okay, great. You whip up your teleportation circle and it pops open and all of you leap in and you appear just a short distance from the outside of the library. Now remember there was the price of admission to the library itself. Is anybody else going in the library itself?
No.
No, Brambrook and Thrax are not.
There are no giants around, correct?
No giants around.
It look like they look unconcerned and
Yeah, it looks a little more crowded. You think people may be taking refuge, like, coming to their vacation home to, say, Cape COVID, something like that. So it's a little more crowded than usual, probably because people don't want to be at their cities. But aside from that,
I'd like to go in.
okay,
I'm
You
always
need-
looking
need to-
for something new.
you need to provide a book that they don't have already, which you gave them Strahd's diary.
Ooh, do I have a book?
Breezy believes that every
Um,
college town has a bar.
It does. It does.
We have this book of it's like the history of Orcus or something that we got. I took it from Strahd's library. Where did I write down what that
I
is?
think you each got a book from Strahd's library, so there should be things to choose from there.
They must have a really good card catalog to be able to check this as for admission.
Do we already have this or not? Well, to not slow things down, I'll say that you look through the books you got from Strahd's library and turn one of them over, and we can work out which one later, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So Neil's going in, Khalifa's going in. Is that it? I mean, you all got something from Strahd's library. Okay. All right, and yeah, there is a little town built up around the library. It's it's got inns, it's got more than its share of hotels. Yeah. Okay. So you go in. They offer to escort you to wherever you want to go. It's sort of hard to find your way around. What are you looking for first, Khalifa?
So my list of to-dos included where was it? Campaign. Okay, so I wanted to learn about. First I want to head to the illithids. I want to read all about any other previous reports of illicit invasions, and do they seem to have like a certain motivation other than just eating brains? Where are they from? I want to know, like,
All right.
do they always come in twos, or
Yeah, they say we have an aberration room with books on all sorts of aberrations. So that's where our illithid books will be.
ooh, that's handy because that's beholders are also aberrations, right?
Yes, they are. Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, I'd love to hit that room.
Okay, that we're going first. All right. You go to that room. There's sort of like where you were before. There's a couple of reading rooms off there. He points out a couple books that are sort of general about aberration. Should give you what you need to know. There is one next to one of the books he pulls out. There's a book with like a paper wrapping around it that says like warning, danger on it. So I assume you want to stay away from that one.
Sweet.
I think that seems very intriguing.
Okay, you pull it out, and he says that one you'll be reading at your own risk. He says that's an interesting book. It's written by a human who spent a lot of time among aberrations and wrote down his thoughts. But I haven't opened it. The majority of people who open that book get affected in their head in some way, not permanently, but really get messed up in their head. But some of them walk out and they say, "Oh, I learned so much." Mostly they just walk out babbling. So we do not recommend you read that book, but it is your right as a patron of this library.
Am I with Khalifa?
I assume you're together. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I was
hey,
going to ask you if you're with me.
Khalifa, you've got detect magic, right?
I do. Yeah.
I've got dispel magic.
Okay. Well,
So-
so I guess I can leaf through it, but you can maybe save me if it seems like I'm permanently stunned or something.
And if you say this out loud, the librarian says, we've actually, it doesn't appear to be a magical effect on this book. It's that the words inside the book, it's not that they're magical. It's that they're
yucky.
aren't fit for reading. He says, I don't know. I've never read it myself.
It's that disturbing, huh?
But
I'm
detect magic doesn't show
reassured
anything.
So
I'm at least reassured that my friend the bard is here to maybe bring me back to reality if I have a snap.
All right.
Well, so that I think that seems like maybe the most arcane sort of knowledge that maybe other people haven't looked into before, or at least not that many people. So I'll start with that.
You'll start with that one? You don't want to start with the normal one? Whatever you want.
How about I'll start with the normal one, and then I'll make a stack of books and I'll start pouring through them, and I'll start with the normal one.
Okay. I don't know if you have access to the PowerPoint. There's some about mind flayers and beholders. They seem to come from another realm. They're weird. They sometimes work together. There's not, you look up if there's been incursions. There's not any note of like widespread incursions, but they do sometimes have their own little fiefdoms. Beholders in particular, there's more about beholders. They may be geniuses, but it's sort of hard to judge them by our standards. You learn some about their abilities, that they have an anti-magic cone coming out from their central eye. So if you're going to fight them with magic, that could shut you down right away. If you're in that cone, and their other 10 eyes shoot out beams of destructive, deadly power.
So don't mess
That's
with
horrifying. And how do I know, like, are these anti-magic cones? Is it like just when you're right up close, or is it 120-foot range, for example?
It's a 60-foot.
Or-
It's a 60-foot cone.
That's huge. That is a huge cone.
Yep. Let me double check, but I
all
think
right.
it is. Yeah.
We know how
It's something
wide the
like
cone
that.
is?
Yeah.
Now the counterpoint is if you're in the anti-magic cone, you can't get hit by their little deadly rays. So it's a bit of a
So good for punchy people.
good for-
sounds
very
a job
good for
a
punchy
barbarian.
people.
Stabby types too, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see
well,
the
so
stats. I thought it was
those
60 feet. I thought it was huge.
It is
Yeah.
pretty big. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's 60 or 120, but I can always look it up later. I'm just
Sure.
role playing that this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. And
Yeah, I'll assume
so
you can
they-
get the stuff that's in the monster manual. No,
but I don't
150
actually have the monster manual, but I have the internet. So
150-foot
yeah.
cone. Oh my god, 150 feet.
Wow.
yeah, it's gigantic. But they can also choose to not have it on or something. I think
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah.
looking in a certain direction.
If they want to zap you to
Uh,
death, they can turn it off.
And they craft layers that certainly sounds dangerous. I guess they're going to set things up to have the fight go on their terms. They probably are going to surround themselves by a bunch of flunkies that would attack us first, which sounds like a criminal organization.
Yep.
And mind flayers would be pretty serious obstacles to getting to the main boss. Okay. Well, that's all pretty useful information. I guess I'm ready to go on to the Book of Madness.
Okay. You take off the paper protective wrapper. Neil, where are you sitting during all this? I assume you're found a reading room.
Looking right over his shoulder.
Yeah, are we in the same section with the books on music, or is this a different area?
No, pretty different.
Different area. I
What
was
about
like
aberration music?
on the other book, on the first book, I was standing right next to him, and as he took the other one off the shelf, I was starting to back away a little bit.
All right.
Getting my social distancing in.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So
There's
Hunter,
some sort of respiratory virus coming out of the book.
you take off the paper wrapping and you start looking through the book, and it's words and things that aren't even words sort of ordered randomly, and you flip from page to page, and there's something in there, but it's random words and they don't make sense. Hunter, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw, DC 17.
Ooh, that is a huge DC.
I wish I was there.
Oh,
to
you're
help
very
you by
intelligent.
catching resistance, but I'm not. So, oh well.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
So wait.
22.
So what's so dangerous about James Joyce's Ulysses?
I think it's
pretty
dangerous.
much. All right, so you got a 22, Hunter. Okay, so it's you're flipping through this, and you flip from page to page, and you eventually start to find a rhythm, and you go from, and it's like starts to gnaw at your brain, but you hold it off with your superior intelligence, and you go through, and you'd have a hard time saying what information you exactly glean from this book, but you do pick up things. The main thing you pick up is that that where aberrations live, any place that's sort of their territory, is going to have lots of random detrimental effects. So this is mostly warning against like going in aberrations, going in Beholder's lair. But it sort of implies that it's any area that they think of as theirs. So if the whole city of Baldur's Gate is under Xanathar's control, then the whole city may be subject to these random detrimental effects.
Hmm. So you're talking about, or I'm reading about things that are like sort of like magical effects of the environment, like what we experienced in Strahd's castle, where the like walls, like where he like just sank down in the wall and stuff like that, or
Well,
like
more
the
than
layer
that.
effects that we read about.
No, more than that, 'cause it's not just how the beholder will interact with the there, but like the whole area. The whole area, people start to go mad, strange things start to happen. Let me see if I can give you some examples. Weird, weird hostile creatures can appear. The ground can squirm. You may find yourself getting lost in places where you shouldn't get lost. It's things like that. It's more than just layer effects. It's the whole reality of the area starts to warp.
And
Like WandaVision.
I suppose
Sure.
I suppose this observer, this human that wrote down this, didn't particularly find any way to protect against those maddening effects. I suppose wrapping your head in tin foil doesn't help or anything.
And again, you couldn't point to one page that said this. This is just you flipping through and using your intelligence to piece this together. It sort of said, don't stay there too long. Taking rests is dangerous. Yeah. Don't stay there too long.
Good to know.
But
Okay.
it
right.
may start to affect the whole city. It's sort of unclear.
It would be hard to cite that book.
Yeah. Which page? Well, it's sort of a
Kind of a-
feeling.
Kind of a gestalt that I got from the experience. That's the way I wrote papers in college. So
All right. Well, that was very helpful. So I guess I've looked through the few tomes that I feel are going to be useful about beholders and Illithid. Should we take Ariel's advice and just go back to that section of the library that I met Cooper Black in? I don't know if the guide can show us where that that section was. We were looking up things about Orcus and I can't remember. I think just the 9 hells and stuff
Yeah,
like
it was specifically on demons. Yeah. I mean, if you go, I mean, Cooper Black is not there if that's what you're looking for.
I guess
Well, no,
my
Ariel just
idea is
wanted
whether
us
or
to,
not
like-
they had seen him. The librarians had seen him.
He had returned it all.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
say, "Oh, you're the one who was fighting that devil." Yeah, that doesn't happen here every day. That was exciting. And they say, "Your friend?" No, I think your friend left like a day later, and no, I hadn't seen him. The word would have gotten around. People are going to be excited to hear you're back. Not going to get attacked by devils this time,
Okay.
are you? And they laugh awkwardly.
Then I think the other section that would be useful for us today is looking up any history of and information about the storm giants, both in their original reign and the worm skull throne, and where they how we can find passage to their kingdom now and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that's what we
Yeah.
need to look up.
Right. Yeah. You go to the giant section, find some books about storm giants. You figure out that some of them aren't, the majority of them aren't very reliable, but you figure out, you can finally piece together some that are. And the reason they're not very reliable is it seems that they're the closest things to deities that are still mortal. Like they're mortal, they're flesh and blood, but they're almost mythic in that nobody ever sees them. They never interact with people. They're extremely powerful, on par with dragons in their power. And so most of the books seem to be people just making stuff up, but you find some that seem good. There are stories of where they dwell, And there are plenty of stories of them dwelling on an island. Some say near the coast, some say far from the coast. There are also plenty of stories of them dwelling underwater. Enough stories of both that you think they're probably both true. They're probably either on an island or underwater or both. But not specific. And when they get specifics, they're contradictory. So they probably have several locations. You
Am I
do
able to glean based on the information in these, like which sources seem more trustworthy?
yeah. Yeah, you can
Like,
sort of
since-
sniff out
since I'm
the
a librarian,
BS.
I'm good at like seeing like who's good at like citing their sources, who seems to be making things up and stuff like that. Is that something that I can pick up on?
Absolutely. You sniff out the BS. And so that's what, what I'm telling you is coming from the more reliable sources. But even those, the reliable sources reliably tell you we've got different stories from different people giving, different locations of where they live. They honestly tell you we've got contradictory information here.
All right. So they're
so-
near deities in their status. They're not like seen or anything, and they haven't been seen for a long time, but the stories are nebulous as far as where their kingdom is.
Yeah, as far as when they're seen, they do seem to have like sort of mutual respectful relationships with certain individuals on the Sword Coast, based on their title, especially like the Black Staff of Waterdeep, the head librarian at Candlekeep, and the chief druid in Silvery Moon are all titles of enough respect that they have some interaction with the Storm Giants.
So the head librarian.
Yeah, the head librarian at Candlekeep, the Black Staff,
Black Staff of Waterdeep. Oh.
and the chief druid at Silvery Moon.
Druid at Silvery Moon. Excellent. So now we've got some folks to hunt down for more information, which
Didn't
we already knew
talk to
about
the Black Staff?
And
Didn't we talk to the Black
We
Staff
did, and
about the Storm Giants?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She had not had any interaction with them, and remember she was on the younger side. You don't know how long she's held that title.
Well, hadn't Laeral or whatever gone to
She-
like the wedding and had some interaction or something like that?
Correct. She said she went to King Hecaton's wedding. Yes. Good
Okay.
memory.
Well, I think I think I'm done here. Let me look at my list.
You did say you were going to
Think
look up
there's-
the Wormskull throne,
Oh yeah.
and there's not a ton about it. They're saying it, assuming it existed, it was lost long before any of the currently existing humanoid civilizations ever appeared. So there's not much known about it, just stories from giants. It's said to be the symbol of the giants' rule back when it was relevant. Made from the skulls of dragons. Again, the more reputable sources say they don't know if it's a legend or not, but like they don't know if it was a real item or not, but they assume it was.
Are giants and dragons rivals or something like that? Yeah.
Yep. Way back when they were both ruling the world, they fought a lot. Oh, was that before you joined last time? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a big war thousands and thousands of years ago. And so they made the Wormskull throne out of dragon skulls, and that'll teach them to be dragons.
Okay, and then one of the hill giants had said that, oh, if me sit on the Wormskull throne, then me be ruler of all giants, or something like that, right?
Yep.
And did one of the cloud giants say something about it being in Waterdeep prior to this, or was that a
They said
different thing?
The,
Just that
the,
it was
the giant capital. It was the giant capital.
Okay. Well, I have taken up enough of y'all's time, but I think that was exactly what Khalifa wanted to get. And so now I think, unless
Khalifa
you guys can think of anything else.
Do you want to try and talk to the head librarian to see if they have any?
Yeah.
If that, I mean.
Yeah. Yes. So let's do that. Neil, this librarian guy is pretty
I'm gonna
pretty much a straight shooter, but
I'm going to sadly close my Dungeon
ahead.
Master's Guide, which was open at the page of Madness, which I didn't get to use
How sad.
for another day.
Who knows? Maybe we'll spend enough time in a lair where you'll get to use it.
Could be. It was going to be fun when you're struck blind. Anyway,
all right. Well,
We may not need this, but just in case, I'd like to, from my armor, cast charm on. I'd like to charm the head librarian.
okay. So we'll. I mean, so you're going to see the head librarian, right?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So we want to talk to
Getting ahead
him
of ourselves.
about his knowledge
All right.
Of
You
Storm
go-
Giants, yeah.
or her knowledge.
You go to the the offices, and between your previous experience there and your reputation and your growing reputation among the octopodemos, you managed to secure a meeting. And he's the head librarian. How busy is he? So you go in. So you're casting charm person.
Yeah.
Okay. There is sort of a flash, and he does request you not cast spells on him. He says it politely, but no. You're dealing with somebody who knows his way around magic. So
All
sorry.
right. All right, fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you better tell us the truth, man.
He's polite about it. He says, I know it's just a charm person spell. These wards are set up for much more dangerous spells, but trust me, after your friend here gave us the most exciting story we've had in years. I'm already inclined to like you.
Well, so yeah, I apologize for the way we entered. You understand us adventuring types are used to trying to have to finagle our information out of people, but the reason that we've come is that we think that we can help get to the bottom of this plague of giants that's come over several of the cities, as I'm sure you've heard, and we think that if we can find the cloud giant's lair, the storm giant lair, that we can parlay with them or help them with what they need to restore order among the giants.
He says,
do you have any additional information besides what I regurgitate from the books?
yeah, he says, well, that sounds like a great plan. I've been in some contact with the leader of the cities, and I understand that Lara Silverhand has been reaching out to the storm giants. So yes, that's absolutely as good a plan as any. He says, I've been head librarian here for almost a century. He's an elf, and he's sort of older than you are, maybe like your parents' generation. Says, I've been head librarian here for over a century. And one of the perks of the job is that, it's a position that gets honor from the storm giants. So I have had some interaction with them. In fact, the last interaction in person I had with them was attending King Hecaton's wedding decades ago.
And where was that wedding? I mean, if it wasn't on the continent here, was it in their main kingdom, or?
It was on an island. It was on an island resort. It was like a destination wedding. We were brought there by storm giants, so I couldn't tell you how far it was. We were sort of magic.
But above,
there. It was above the water. Yes.
Water, though.
Yes.
And this was did they have a city, a civilization, or was it like literally on the beach, like one of those like Mexico weddings with the little?
Not quite. It sort of. It wasn't their. I don't know what their main stronghold would look like. It didn't seem like their main stronghold. It seemed like a vacation spot for them. Maybe it had giant-sized bungalows. So there was a permanent establishment there, but I'd be surprised if that was their permanent headquarters. Seemed like it was picked for its beauty.
Okay. Well, so is there a way that you have to directly contact them to let them know that we are interested in trying to help and trying to reach them, or do you just have to wait for them to contact you?
Yeah, I don't have a way to contact them. No.
Well, please message us if they do contact you, and I'm sure that Laryl is doing what she can to, because Laryl's a she, right? What she can to reach out, but then is also going to let us know as well.
Well, is there any
Perhaps we will
any
have,
information I can give you to help with? I mean, I don't know where this island is, but would you like to ask me anything about my interactions with the giants?
Neil,
Broad,
what else
broad,
have we
broad.
not covered?
How do you engage them? What draws their attention most? What are they most interested in?
Storm giants?
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to say. I think they view it as they want to make our world a paradise as much as they can, but they're long lived, they're slow moving, they don't do a whole lot. But certainly when I was at the wedding, I talked to quite a few of the giants who said that they had high hopes for King Hekaton. He was very very optimistic, very idealistic, thought he would make things great for both giants and small folk. That doesn't seem to have occurred, but they were very optimistic about him, thought he was going to make things, really improve things. I did get there were only a handful of small folk there. Like Laryl Silverhand, she was there as the +1 of the Black Staff at the time. So this is before she was the Open Lord of Waterdeep, of course. She was just she's a very powerful mage, but she didn't have an official government title at that time. She was there with the Black Staff. And so
how did she forge the relationship with King Hekaton?
Well, again, she was the +1. The Black Staff was invited because of his official position, and he brought her. They were an item. I don't know if they were married or not. And so a lot of my conversations were with the other small folk, just for convenience. I did talk to quite a few giants at the wedding, though, quite a few storm giants. And from what I discussed with them, and from some conversations I overheard, because I do speak a smattering of giant, I heard quite a few people were surprised that King Hekaton was getting married, but I never understood why. I came back and did some research, and most storm giant kings have gotten married, some to men, some to women. Some have remained bachelors, but so I couldn't figure out why, but they were definitely pleasantly surprised that he was getting married. To the extent that I could read. It's hard to read subtext on a species as different than you are, but that's my impression.
And no one said anything specific about this particular King Hekaton being more of a loner, or like disinterested in relationships, or specifically stating that he wasn't going to get married before, or they just said that they were surprised, huh?
There was something there, something, not that he didn't want to get married, like that there would have been some sort of impediment to him getting married, and they were surprised that he got over that impediment.
You haven't heard that he's getting divorced, have you?
I haven't heard anything. The last thing I hear, let me, and he digs through his files. He says, "Let me share with you what I have." And he shares with you.
How long ago was the wedding, by the way?
The wedding. Well, let me look. And he looks through his files, and he pulls this out. He's like, 1412. Has it been that long? It's been 80 years since the wedding. And he pulls it out and he shows you the wedding invitation. And it was the year 1412. And you're, of course, right now in the year 1492. So unless I'm embarrassing myself, that's been 80 years.
Yep. That checks out. I'll do an intelligence check.
All right. And he says, no. And as far as what I heard from them, the only thing I heard from them since then was the birth announcement I got, and he pulls that out of his file. Here's the birth announcement for his son, August. And you can see he even wrote a personal note to me at the bottom. He said, no, it's the formal birth announcement. And then he wrote, I assume in his own handwriting, a personal note saying that he looks forward to bringing his son to visit, to learn. And then I never heard from him. Now, of course, it's not uncommon for important people to say, "Oh, I'll come see you," and then they don't. I'm not offended. I'm a little surprised that he would say that and then not show up. I'm not offended. I'm just surprised that.
What
No.
is the age of when would a giant come of age?
Says, I don't know, but it's been 75 years. He should be old enough to come to a library.
So I take it that storm giants are very precise.
Says, what do you mean by that?
Well, I appreciate the 3 ounces when their child weighed 544 pounds. Very helpful.
Well, proud parents, they get all the details.
I heard it all. So that's a good question, Thrax. Thanks for reminding me. When was it that the storm giants kind of disappeared in general? Was that the last time they contacted you? Also, the last time anyone had heard from them?
Yeah, this birth announcement is the last thing I've heard from him. I can't speak for anyone else. That's probably a good question for the chief druid of Silvery Moon or for Laurel Silverhand. Or I'm pretty sure the current black staff, she's been in the job not that many years. I doubt if she's ever heard from the storm giants. So the last I've heard from them is this birth announcement 75 years ago.
What do you know about, what do you recall about Lady Neri?
I didn't interact with her much. She was the bride. She was, we had there was a greeting line. She was very polite, but, seemed people were saying she was very educated, very polite, very nice. Yeah.
And also a storm giant.
Yes, she was a storm giant.
Not a beholder or an illithid.
No, that would have been quite surprising.
Remarkable.
I would be remarking on it right now.
And their child would have been much lighter.
That was a joke, but my humor is not obviously my strong suit.
Oh, ha, 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 ha. He forces a laugh.
Right. Well, let's see. This has been very enlightening, and hopefully, if the King Hecaton does reach out to you, to let him know that we're interested in trying to help. And in the meantime, I think we're going to try to liberate some cities from the other giants as best we can. Did I mention to you some of the things that I was researching here vis-a-vis the beholders and illithid? And is it okay if I update him on the plots that we've uncovered potentially with Xanathar?
It's okay with me.
Yeah. I look over at Neil, and unless Neil has any objections, then I'll just verbal diarrhea all that stuff to him.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have specific knowledge. He directs you to certain parts of the library, which is where you've already gone. He says there is one book I would warn you. You might not want to read that one. He's the head librarian. He's not the expert on everything. He just had the personal interactions with the storm giants.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you think might be useful to us in our quest to liberate Baldur's Gate from a beholder gripped crime syndicate?
No, that's definitely out of my area of expertise. No, no. And let's see.
And then I guess I might have misheard it because I was just getting my food here. Did you say was the bride from like a famous family or anything among the storm giants, or since
He said,
you're
I
a
mean,
small folk, you don't?
yeah, the easy answer to all questions about storm giants is I don't know, but I got the impression she was from a nice family. I don't know what their hierarchy exactly is, but no, she was the kind of person who would marry a king. Just they were surprised that, again, they were surprised. It's hard to express, especially since but
Okay.
they were surprised that he had made a match at all.
I have a
Pleasantly
question.
surprised. Yes.
What kind of music was played at their wedding?
Oh, good question. There were a lot of harps
Harps. Okay.
and waltzes. There are lots of waltzes.
Do you remember any of the tunes?
It's been 80 years,
that is true.
and I find music to be really a waste of time.
Damn fighting works. Out comes the spells.
Time could be better spent reading.
Out comes the spells.
Well, I really appreciate your time, and thank you for understanding about our charm attempt. We'll and we did leave you another book to your library. Hopefully that adds to the knowledge that someone else might gain from the future. So thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. All right, what were the rest of you doing? Hitting the bars and the inns, etc.
Carousing.
Carousing.
Low class carousing.
Well, unfortunately, it's a bit of a high class place, so
Drat.
you can try.
I think we wanted to see if there were any people who had fled from other cities or knew anything else about kind of any more recent news from when we maybe last were in one of the cities.
Okay. This is very far south, so it's physically closest to Baldur's Gate by a long shot. You do find some, mid to upper class people. They're not peasants who got all the way down here, but people who have the occasion to come to Candlekeep once in a blue moon, and they use this as an excuse to come down here. And so they really only know about the experience at Baldur's Gate. I don't know if you have questions.
Maybe just when last they were in the city and how many giants there were. And
Maybe
Yeah,
if
most-
any of them saw Ursula.
Okay, most of them say they left on G Day, which is what everybody's calling it now. And how many giants? Yeah, they're not sure. Ursula, you ask about that. That doesn't ring. I guess you describe her rainbow-colored
Right,
hair.
rainbow garments. And,
They do talk about young people today and their fashions, but nobody pegs her directly. No. I guess if you ask about the X-Men and the red leather, they do. Some of them do say that they had, heard about violent crime with the new crime gang, but if they rose to power, that would be after these guys left.
I think that was all I kind of wanted to know. If anybody had more recent data on what we might be going into, but it sounds like not.
Yeah.
We'll meet up with them. I guess we'll have a few drinks and
Okay.
wait
Great.
for
All
our
right,
librarian friends to wander out.
Since this city is relatively safe and it's evening, do you guys want to crash here before we go back, or do you guys want to head back tonight and find a place to crash in right outside Baldur's Gate?
I guess it's probably evening now, easily 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so we could post up in one of the inns here, or if you guys wanted to explore Baldur's Gate at night, we could head there and explore for a while before we find a place to crash there. Whatever you guys think.
I feel like we should crash here. And in the morning, start fresh
Makes sense.
rather
Right.
than wandering into an unknown situation and trying to find rest.
Okay. Yeah. It's not as crowded a situation as it is in some of the like refugee camps, but rooms are hard to come by. Somebody roll me an investigation check.
Well, since I've been here before, I can roll one since I've looked around before. And my
Yeah, Khalifa and one other
investigation check is
person.
a 27.
Okay. All right. So you get lucky. The third one you go to says they do have rooms. They're a little embarrassed. They say, yes, we've got a room. It's fairly large. It should hold all of you. You do have to understand we're packed to the gills here. And so we're going to have to charge quite a bit. We're going to have to charge 15 gold pieces for this room. And we've got one room. You can all fit there. But
That's going to include dinner, I assume.
yes. And a continental breakfast.
Looking
Tanner
among my
waffle maker.
colleagues, I think we're all good with that, huh?
I just accounted for it on the spreadsheet, so we're all good for it.
All right. right.
Continental breakfast. What is that? It's not even real breakfast.
Better be a waffle maker. That's all I can say.
All right. So you have dinner. There is a stage that is currently unused. If Neil wants to,
I'll pass.
you'll pass. All right. Yeah. Being overcharged. You check out your room, and it's a room that could comfortably sleep 4. So yeah, all 8 of you can sleep here, but it's you just have to tell yourself we saw much worse over the past week or two, and
Neil just curls up on Brambrick's.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about. This place is fine. Lots of space.
look at the shelf in that closet. Look at that drawer.
Drawer.
I just need a comfortable little mat to sit on while I trance.
Yeah, can't you put your
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 floating
circle-
death disc,
Your cut.
floating disc? It's like a build up.
his corpse carrier.
Into bed.
It's like beds on chains.
Did you clean it after the dead body rode on it for a while? Does this place feel like we need to post a watch?
Doesn't feel like it, but no.
Sleep then.
I have an idea for that. I've got this spell that I used the last time I was in Candlekeep, and right by the door, I conjure the watchdog, the invisible watchdog. What's its name? Somebody's faithful hound.
Mordenkainen.
There we go.
Mordenkainen's hound. Yeah.
Okay.
Can't say I remember exactly how that works, but okay.
It's
Eight
it
hours.
conjures a phantom watchdog that lasts for 8 hours, and look, you guys can't be noisy if you're in here.
We want to play with you.
But you can't.
Is
talk.
that how it works?
The hound is invisible, and it barks if intruder comes within 30 feet without speaking a password, which I'll tell all of you guys. It's the Elvish word for friend. But
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Anyway,
So you're gonna make them try to
Wrong.
pronounce an Elvish word. Do they have to get their inflections right?
most of them speak Elvish.
Yeah.
And it actually can see invisible creatures and see into the ethereal plane and ignores illusions. So it's a pretty helpful watchdog.
That's pretty slick.
That actually is. All right. Well, you get a boring night, but that's a pretty good watchdog, actually.
It doesn't go off with like people entering the adjacent rooms.
Yeah, actually,
They're 30 feet away.
within 30 feet, people walking down the hall all night.
All right.
So you have to put a note on the front of the door. Say this password. Yeah, aside from people walking down the hall, the night passes uneventfully. You get a continental breakfast. They do not have a waffle maker. It's danishes, and they're only cherry danishes.
Ooh, I like cherry danishes.
Well, good. It's you have a happy breakfast then.
Breezy stacks up like 12 of them.
Is the sausage in patties or links?
Only patties.
Oh,
Only patties.
Jesus, what's wrong with this place?
Hmm. And what they're calling hash browns is like chunks of potatoes.
They have biscuits and gravy or not?
No.
Our son.
It is pretty far south, but no biscuits and
Yeah,
gravy.
surprised not to have biscuits and gravy there.
I should like register my displeasure with your manager.
And the fruit is all melons.
It's all honeydew. It's all honeydew.
Totally honeydew.
There's like 3 grapes in there, but no, whoever gets there first gets the grapes. All right, it's morning time. You heading to Baldur's Gate?
I think we're flying, right, Khalifa? Or teleporting, rather?
I think you are.
Yeah.
Let's do
Yep.
the thing.
You've got a spot a couple miles out of the gate. So if you remember, before you went to burn down the Hill Giants place, you ran into Willie, and they said they'd go check out the status around the city.
Girl, Willie.
Yes.
And I assume did you set up a meeting place with him?
At the place.
I don't recall. That was maybe Neil did. I don't know.
I don't think
We
we
could
set up
cast
a-
sending to contact him if you prefer.
Sure.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll cast sending to tell Willie that that we've arrived and want to meet him, and I'll try to describe which gate we're at.
Sure. Are you staying outside the city at first? Because you teleported to a place outside the city. No, near outside the city.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Unless we know a place that we should meet him inside, but
Okay. So he writes back. He's like, yeah, we're outside the city too. We should be only a few miles away. We'll see you in about 30 minutes. So he shows up with a couple of his friends less than 30 minutes later. And yeah. Sorry, I'm just figuring out these friends need to have names, but don't mind me. Fantasy name generator. Not porn, please. You never know what you're going to get. Oh, those are terrible names.
Beauty of the internet.
Boondock. So Willie and Boondock show up. And I say, "Oh, it's good to see you, man. Things are looking rough around Baldur's Gate. How much time has passed at this point? Oh, well, y'all just made the deal to get the pies just yesterday. So yeah, they say, yeah, the Giants are coming every 2 days. They're getting armloads of food, and this new gang that's set up, they seem to be running the place. They're the X-Men. They're running the place. They're coordinating all the collecting the. So I guess this is sort of good. They're coordinating the collecting the food for the Giants. They put it all in one place, so the Giants just go there. Hey, cat. But they also say, but they're in charge of the place. They're roughing people up. We saw them just manhandling people. They're going door to door collecting food, but the food they collect, if it's good stuff, they keep it, and if it's like vegetables or like cans of hominy or stuff, they give that to the Giants, and they keep the good stuff for themselves. And so we talked to people around the city, and they're afraid of the Giants, and they're afraid of the gang. People are just living in fear. People are reluctant to leave the city because they've never left the city in their whole life, but it's getting bad, and people want to leave, and don't know. But if they leave, they're leaving everything they own behind.
Sounds like a good opportunity to buy up a bunch of houses for our real estate business.
All right. Well, let's go rough up some ruffians.
Says, yeah, I was checking this place out with Boondock here. Boondock grew up here. No, I didn't grow up here. And that's a good name. And he ran into this guy who grew up with Kilmore, who, oh yeah, that actually is a really good name, isn't it? Kilmore is now part of these X-Men. And Boondock's like, yeah, Kilmore, I grew up with him. I didn't like him. He's always sort of a jerk. And now he's part of this gang, and I'm not surprised because they're pretty rough. They're just they're bullies. They're being tyrants, and not surprised he's part of this gang. But he's talking to me about it. He said they give him good places to hang out. They get lots of money, get to be in control. He asked me if I wanted to be part of it. I was like, I don't know. So yeah, I might be able to learn a little bit more from him if you want.
Well, why don't we come with you?
Come with me to do what?
Meet kill more butts.
Yeah, he might be a little freaked out if I show up with 8 heavily armed, and he looks at Neil and Ariel, or like 4 or 5 heavily armed guys. He might be a little freaked out. Is that what you want?
I mean, if he can get us to the right person.
I mean, that ruins any chance of stealth. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe we let him figure out what he can learn and report back. Maybe
Maybe
We
if
could just send Breezy
maybe it
or
would be more
Neil.
useful. Maybe it'd be
Yeah,
more
no.
useful to keep that contact secret, and just find a way to tail Kilgore later without him knowing who turned him in, or who
here's the thing.
ratted him out to us.
I could certainly tag along. I mean, I have thieves can't, and I can look unsavory and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can get recruited.
Yeah. He says, yeah, I'd much rather take one of you there, and you do seem, you seem like a city boy, know your way around a rough area. So, yeah, I think that's a much better idea than bringing all 8 of you.
Yeah, and then can we just keep what do we have to do to keep our mental link connected?
Hunter?
Well, we can only do it for an hour. This telepathic bond will give out after an hour, but we can at least talk until then.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, he says, I know where the guy likes to get lunch. There's a corn dog place, and so do your hooba jooby right before lunch, and the 3 of us, Willie, Boondock, and Breezy, we'll go over there.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Anything else you want to do in the morning?
Are there fewer giants? Like, because didn't we reach our accord actually a few days before?
It was. Oh well, you reach your accord, but you only arranged for the pies to be delivered. The first pie delivery would have been this morning, where you're eating your cherry danishes.
Okay. And did we determine it's pie delivery to the Giants Hall?
Yes.
All right.
So it doesn't look like there's much of a giant presence in this. Is there a giant presence in the city? There's some giant presence in the city, but mostly it's groups going back and forth bringing the food. So there's a small giant presence in the city. Not small giants, but
Did Kilmore and whatever his name learn, or not Kilmore, whatever
Boondock.
Boondock, did they learn more about the group at all, really?
Like that gang?
Yeah.
They learn more that, they're talking to sort of a low level guys like, yeah, we had this all planned out. And when things got bad, we stepped in and took over. And so, you don't know what's hype, and this guy's not very hype in the organization. So
Yeah.
it sort of seemed like they were ready to strike when the Giants came in, and now they're de facto running the city.
Okay.
So if they're not connected to the giants, well, these guys wouldn't know whether they are like synchronizing things with the giants, collaborating
Well,
with the
I mean,
giants.
they're definitely collecting food for the giants.
Well, now, yes, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, but beforehand, these guys don't know.
Well, the two you're talking to don't know, and even their friend, I mean, he's more talk than anything he says is.
He's a hype guy.
And more importantly, they are connected to X, who seems to be taking advantage of this giant incursion, or maybe have caused it.
All right. Anything else you want to do before the lunchtime meeting? Okay. All right. So Breezy, Willie, and Boondock, I'll go to this. You cast your mental link spell, and y'all go to the. It's called. It's called. What's the name of the corn dog place?
Myung Rang.
What is it?
Myung Rang.
I can't tell if you have a bad internet connection or.
There you go. Myung Rang.
Oh boy! All right, thank you for that.
It's a Korean specialty corn dog place here in LA.
Okay. Of course it is. Of course it is. All right, you go there, and sitting outside is Kilmore with his glass of lemonade and his corn dog, and there's a couple other of the X-Men sitting with them, and he calls over Boondock. He's like, "Hey, come on, man, come hang out with the important people."
Well,
Says, "Oh, hey, Willie. Hey, good to see you again, Willie."
I'm gonna let them take the lead before I say anything, right? Like they're gonna have to make introductions and
yeah,
whatever.
they're gonna say this is this guy we know, Breezy. He's been making his way, finding little roughs since the giants came down. Should they say like you want to? And
No,
Kilmore
they-
just comes out and says, "Boondock, Willie, I've been saying y'all should, this is where it's at, is being an X-Man. I've been saying that, man. You're working too hard. You got to be one of us."
I was like,
And
what does it take to be an X-Man?
he's like, you got to know how things work, and you got to work the angles, and you got to know who's what, and you got to be good at stuff. And he does say, and once you're like really signing up, we got to put you in front of like one of the big guys, and he's got to do some sort of magic thing to make sure you're like one of us. You got to make sure that people are right to be an X-Man, and so he's got some sort of magic that can tell that or not. And if not, then we kick your ass and throw you out on the street. But if so, then you're in.
You're in. All right, that's cool. That seems cool. When do people sign up? Where do you sign up?
Yeah, you can just tell me, and we'll it's usually in the morning, so you missed it for this morning, but I can find you a spot for tomorrow. Yeah, I get a bonus if they take you.
Oh,
All three of you interested? And Boondock and Willie are like, they're like, we told you we like being independent. We don't know. I was like, man, you're missing out.
all right, cool.
So he says like he tells you some corner you can meet him at like 10 a.m. if you want to
cool.
sign up tomorrow.
Who is the big dude? Like, is he a giant? You guys work for the Giants?
Oh, the Giants work for us, man. We don't work for the Giants. The Giants work for us.
That's pretty impressive. I thought the Giants had some king or something.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they vote. I don't know. But the Giants work for us. We say what goes in this town. We give the Giants the food so they don't kill people. If we weren't feeding the Giants, they'd be eating people more.
That's a sweet
deal.
So
we're helping everybody. We're helping the people. We're helping the Giants, and everybody answers to us. Yeah,
I like that. Looking out for the neighborhood. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to do if you join X-Men? Like, do you have to
if people step out of line, you gotta pop them one, but you got to make sure that they don't step out of line. You just got to go around and you say, hey, we got food. We got to get food for the giants. We don't get food from the giants are going to come eat you. Things like that. If you disrespect us, the giants are going to come eat you. You got to tell people that. You got to tell people if you got too much money, the giants are going to come eat your money. So give us the money.
Mhm.
It's like that kind of stuff.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. As long as people are afraid of the giants, then they'll do whatever you want. And even at this point, you don't even have to say giants anymore. You just show them the red leather. They all know what that means.
Yeah, do you get that sweet red leather if you sign up?
That's the best part, man. Yes.
That's cool. That's cool, man. Cool. All right, so we can meet you at that place tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you guys do in the afternoon? So you said in the morning you like do this sign up. Like, is the afternoon just free time? You just hang out?
No, the afternoon we got a route. We go door to door. We tell people give us your food. It's 1 pound of food per person per week. So we got a route. We got to get enough food. If people hold out on us and don't give us the food, then you got to crack some skulls and go in there and get their food anyway. That's a lot of work, but 1 or 2 of those a day keeps things interesting.
Yeah, and like I'm just staying out at a like an old smashed up hotel. But
What?
Yeah, do you guys have a place you stay or what?
No, that's a chump place. Yeah, we got a sweet place.
Like all of you hang out together there? It's like a clubhouse or something?
Yeah. It's like there's a bunch of different rooms, and yeah, it's a big underground clubhouse, if you know what I mean.
Hey, swaggy. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
I mean, it's like actually underground. Is what I mean.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if you got that. So,
I didn't. That seems like that would suck to live underground.
but then you can get there from anywhere, and you pop down and you pop up, and you can go anywhere in the city. It's pretty cool.
Okay, cool. So there's like
Plus, like above ground, you got giants tearing stuff up. The city's pretty much rubble. Down there, still pretty nice.
But there's like a sewer or something. You live in a sewer?
And it's more like a tunnel. It's more like a tunnel.
Hmm.
Sewers would have shit in it, and
Yeah,
I mean,
that
you
sounds
know.
terrible.
We did go through tunnels before, if you recall, in Baldur's Gate. That's how we got people out of the city, didn't we?
That was Waterdeep, and that
Oh,
was sewers, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
All right, tunnels, huh? Cool.
So, what can you do, Breezy? Can you hold your own?
Oh yeah. So, I
All right. Here you go. Punch me. All right. Roll an attack roll and add your strength.
will attack
Punch
roll-
me. Punch me.
Instead of punching him, I'm just gonna pickpocket him. So I'm gonna make a pass at that instead and get his whatever possessions he's got on him.
Okay.
And let's see. I use sleight of hand for that.
Yeah.
Well then, let's roll a sleight of hand roll, shall we?
Whatever it is you steal from him, you should then punch him with it.
Well, I'm one thing at a time. Okay, I got a 21.
Okay. Yeah. I assume you like fake punch, and then you grab. You get you don't sit there to inspect it, but you get like a coin purse and a dagger of some sort.
All right, and then I show him and drop it on the ground. And
Oh, okay. He's like, wait, that's my knife. Oh, and then he punches you. That's a pretty bad roll, but I'll assume he did like 1 hit point of damage. He punches you. He's like, that's pretty cool, man. Wait, that's my knife. When'd you get that?
Yeah, you know how it is.
Can you do
You gotta know how things work.
Can you do that to anybody?
Well, I don't know about anybody, but
Wait, what are you trying to say?
I'm just saying, sometimes it's easier than other times. I'm just kidding you.
He's like, but man, we don't need to go sneaking around anymore. We're in charge here. Days of sneaking are over. That's still a pretty cool trick.
Yeah, it finds its uses.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So My intent is to leave this scene, and then when they leave, shadow them.
Okay. Okay. Hey, am I too loud? I'm too loud.
Oh, and I'll tell the gang where to meet me. Like, my thing is basically I'll hide somewhere, have everyone show up. I'll tell them they can follow me at a distance, but I'll be able to keep up with those guys. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yep. Oh yeah. All right. They finish their corn dogs. They say, all right, we got to go on our rounds. They leave. Give me a stealth roll, Breezy.
All right, stealth is boop, ba-doop, boop, boop, plus 13. And it has an A next to it. Does that mean I roll with advantage?
No.
My
Why does it have an
stealth-
A next to it?
My stealth has a little green.
Oh,
A.
if you move half speed, yeah, if you move half speed, you do roll with advantage. That's right.
So
I'll assume they're walking sort of casually. So yeah, sure, roll with advantage.
I'll roll it twice. 25 or 14. I'll take the 25.
Okay. And what about Willie and Boondock? You ditching them?
Yeah, I assume they're just like,
Okay.
let them go.
Yeah.
Hunter
Alright.
can bring them up if we need to, right?
So yeah, you're a city boy. You blend into there's not much of a crowd, but you still blend into the scenery, and yeah, that you follow along, and the rest of the octopodemos can follow you at a distance.
I can leave them little chalk marks or something.
Mm-hmm. And you see they go to a sort of residential business neighborhood, and they're going door to door. And give me a
Green
perception.
paint marks.
Yes, paint marks. Perception, you said?
Yeah.
Perception is +8. All right, I can roll that. Do 18.
Okay. Yeah, every person that opens the door, they see them, and they look at a list they have. They're asking for 1 pound of food per person from every door, and for the most part, they don't encounter any resistance. People just hand over their food, and you can hear them looking through it and saying, "Oh man, this is turnips. Okay, that's fine. This is stuff we're going to give to the giants." And they're looking through, and they're picking out, like, the bread is, people don't want to give them their best food.
Right.
They're picking out things like bread. They're picking out fruit that looks okay, and they're keeping that for themselves. And all the bottom of the barrel stuff, they're saying that's going to the giants. Now after like about a dozen of these, you hear one house, and the guy opens, and he brings out 1 pound of food, and they say, no, we've got a list here that says you've got 2 people living here. He's like, oh no, it's just me. And they start to force their way in the front door.
Okay. I mean, my goal is to find out how they get down to their underground thing, so I can't give myself away
Okay.
at this point.
Yeah. They're in there. You hear some sort of yelling, some shouting, some banging, and then he's like, okay, they leave with apparently 2 pounds of food. So somehow they got their way.
Yeah. All right.
2 pounds, 3 ounces, actually. So they're going for like an hour before they take their break. And then you've seen plenty of sewer holes, manholes in this area. And they go down in one of those sewer holes. And
All right. So we at least know which one that they can go down to get to their place.
Yeah.
All right.
It was pretty close to their route, so it certainly wasn't the only one, but you got one. Yeah.
All right. So I then reconvene with the rest of the troops.
Okay.
And fill them in on what I've seen and everything. So we know where they are, guys. They're down there in those tunnels. Let's go.
Time to invade.
Is let's go into the tunnels of the whole gang the plan that we're going with? Seems reasonable to me.
There's 8 of us, just a few of them.
How many, Jay, how many were part of this party that we were following around?
3.
3. Okay, so not many.
Yeah.
I mean, what,
And then you wonder if your giant goat with an exposed brain is going to attract any attention.
No, he stayed with the Giants.
Did he stay? I thought he went with y'all, but then we never discussed him after that ever
No,
again.
He was happy to be back with the Giants.
He was. I just thought he was
No.
going with y'all.
No, I'm pretty sure Khalifa said
No, we
he
talked
deserved
to-
to come with us,
yeah,
even though he was an aberration.
Yeah,
that was
I
going to
remember-
attract attention all the time.
because we were gonna make a brain.
Pat.
Oh, we're gonna put the dread helm on him?
Yeah.
We
We
have,
really got some weird looks in the
Definitely
library.
we have a giant goat walking around with
The
us.
people at the library really thought that was. I
Glowing
don't
red
know.
eyes.
I don't know. I mean, we can say he stayed at Ariel's place for until you're
Yes.
until you're done with Baldur's Gate, at least. Although I don't know.
Oh,
I'm sure my
But
wife
he-
will appreciate that.
If,
Honey, I gotta go again. I got
Well,
your
what-
present though.
one thing we didn't explore is that it was a female goat. Yeah, useful. You can get
Make
giant
goat
psychic
cheese.
milk.
yeah, goat cheese.
All right. Well, we'll procrastinate on where escape is for now.
So we have one vote for a plan of go directly into these tunnels right now. So that's a thing that someone suggested.
One vote for burn them down.
Well, I'll second burn them down.
We could just throw something into the tunnels and have it blow up. Sounds good.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have a feeling that the tunnels, well, we don't know. Like, should we wait a reasonable amount and open it and go in? I mean, I'm okay with going down in the tunnels and poking around.
We could sneak.
Well, one thing to consider is that if we did get you to infiltrate their gang, then we might be able to find the leader instead of just like picking off the henchmen in the periphery.
True, but
We
I
might be able
don't
to
like
get-
the idea of having my brain magic scanned.
Hmm.
That is not traditionally.
Maybe we can
gone
just
well for
watch
Breeze.
the ceremony.
What's that?
Maybe we can just watch the ceremony from afar tomorrow morning instead of you participating.
Meaning I don't meet up with him. Yes.
Yeah,
The
but like
idea
we
is just
go
trying to figure out what
to-
the
to
brain
watch
scan
the-
involves.
the-
Or...
right.
Oh.
Or we could just
Like, did he explain where this initiation was? Is that above ground or is that below ground?
I don't think he explained, but
I don't think it did either.
Presumably
My
it'd be-
assumption is it's in their clubhouse.
yeah, I think the implication would be that you would go back to their headquarters and sign up there. That's where the paperwork is.
Yeah, is this a nighttime, like let's go down and poke around kind of mission?
Well, it's going to be dark there no matter what time of day because it's underground, right? So we could go night, we could go day.
But they might not be awake at night.
Or might they not be awake first thing in the morning? I don't know.
Well, he told me to meet up with him at 10.
I think
So what is our goal exactly here? We were
find Cooper Black. Find Cooper Black.
right. That's what I thought, because this doesn't seem to be that. This involves what exactly now? We're looking for
well, our goal was to free the cities from the invasions. We did figure out a temporary solution to get the giants out of the city, but it seems like this crime syndicate has set in and still holds a stranglehold, even though the giants are probably going to stop coming once they get satisfied with the pies.
So,
So this,
That's a really good point. To be fair, maybe we should wait until the giants are no longer in the city. Wait 3 or 4 days. Like 3 or 4 days, is that going to make much of a difference to the X-Men?
well, it's
threat?
3 or 4 days that we're not doing other things with Cooper Black and not going to Silvery Moon, and 3 or 4 days that we're, not freeing the other cities, I suppose. But
Right.
I guess we could go to the other cities, but we're here
Well,
now.
For what it's worth, didn't that council say, got the other cities handled? We want you to take care of Baldur's Gate. Like, we're not responsible for all the cities on the continent.
couldn't have a hero.
Not yet, but
Not a very good one.
well, so here's a couple of options. One is we can try to tail them right now, or we can try to not tail them, but just go down in here and explore right now.
Mhm.
Or we could try to go and explore later in the evening, or we could somehow try to safely follow Breezy as he goes to join them tomorrow morning, or we could
Well,
wait a few days after
so-
the Giants have stopped coming, but I kind of think let's not wait a few days.
All
Are
right.
we looking
So,
for a battle with this syndicate, or we're trying, what, or we want to parlay with them, or what? I mean, what's the plan? Violence?
that's a really good question. I can't imagine that we're going to be able to talk the syndicate into like, hey, what if you just abandon this easy pickings you've had?
Sounds right. Yeah.
Now, Khalifa's not wrong. We could open this manhole cover. I could drop down there and probably continue to follow these guys and figure out more precisely where things are. Right? Like, I've got Elven Boots of Sneaky Silence. I've got See in the Dark powers. So I can get down there and continue to follow them and get a more specific bead on where they are. But I think Ariel's right. Like, what are we shooting for?
I mean,
Although-
are we planning to go down there and knock some heads, and we're just trying to figure out what we're up against, or?
Although, yeah, I could, again, if I go down and do some recon, we could have a sense of what numbers are. I mean, Khalifa did mention that if this thing is being led by a beholder, and if their lair is a wacky world, it seems like maybe going down into their wacky world is not a great idea.
Sounds right. I mean, even Baldur's Gate could be part of the wacky world, so we may already be exposing ourselves to that.
Well, I know Brambrick wants to go down and just bash heads.
And these
So
guys-
here's a theory.
Fun Willie.
There,
Go ahead.
here's a theory. This multi-city giant attack
Yes.
may be caused by some sort of psychic and like charm effects on several different giant leaders, such as the effects that were going on with the giants in the basement of the Hill Giant camp.
Right.
It may not be that each of their leaders is mind controlled by Illithid, but perhaps they are being threatened by Illithid or like their food supply was being cut off like the Hill Giants or something. And if this reading that I did in this book is accurate, the Illithid may not be directly the
Ben,
same
what
sort
you
of
doing?
creature as a beholder.
What
but
was
they
that?
are
Sorry.
all related otherworldly aberrations, and the beholder that leads this crime syndicate may be behind this entire incursion of giants indirectly. That's just a theory, and again, maybe it's just because I've been was reading for hours about illithids and beholders yesterday, but it all seems to be starting to come together in my mind.
So you're advocating going down there into the tunnels.
Do you have another lead on how to get to the storm giant castle, or to how to find Cooper Black? Because if not, then I think this is our most actionable information at the moment.
Well, Bramberg, why don't you lift up this manhole cover and I'll just drop down in there and see what we see.
All right.
All right.
All right, I'm going to do my best to find and follow them and keep doing the recon.
I'll do my once per day one action ritual to go ahead and reestablish our telepathic link for another hour.
Okay.
All right, that seems good.
You want to grab some pony help before you drop down?
Sure.
Because I'm going to call for a perception check. I'm also going to call for a stealth check, but I'm not as worried about that one.
Yeah, I can do that. What does pony help do for me?
Gives you 1d4.
D4, yeah.
And I'll
So-
and I'll touch him and give him guidance also. That's
Which-
also
That's
another
what pony
That-
help is.
That's
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
So give me a perception check and add a d4.
All right, perception is, again, I think +8 and then plus a d4.
Yeah.
And a d4, 17 total.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell the path just runs two directions and you can tell which direction they went. I'm going to have you roll a stealth check with advantage.
Ooh, 27 versus 32. I'll take the 32.
All right. You are part of the sewer at this point. And yeah, you keep playing back from them. You can, after just a few minutes, you can hear what they're talking about. They're just chit-chatting, but you're far enough away that they're not going to find you. And you're walking down so that you can to sort of trace yourself versus where you are above ground. Give me a survival check.
Now that's interesting. What do I have for that? That's just a straight up D20. An 8.
Okay. So you feel like you could find your way back, but you're not sure where you are relative to the above ground.
I'm going to use like a little piece of chalk to mark them.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And you finally come to an area after about 10 minutes, come to an area that's sort of less dreary, dark tunnel and more, carved out, sort of established, almost barracks. There's, it's got light. It's got, you keep back, but you see that there's sort of living quarters. There's looks like eating quarters, sleeping quarters. Looks like this is sort of where they're established.
Any sense of what kind of numbers we're talking about?
Yeah, you rolled really good on stealth, so you'll be able to sneak around a bit. Give me an investigation check.
Investigation. All right. So many different kind of rolls. Oh, 7.
Okay. It's more than a couple dozen. You don't know how many more. Might be a lot more.
All right. More than a couple dozen. All right.
Does he get any sense of like the hierarchy, or this is all just a bunch of thugs, or?
Yeah, it's sort of mid-afternoon siesta time. So, I mean, he sort of sees a bunch of thugs, really.
Just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. There is
Alright.
you sort of get a sense of where like the higher ups office might be, at least higher up than these peons.
Right. So I have some sense of where they are and how many there are and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else I can glean? What else do we need to know from down here? Anything?
There is, you hear some people talking about like some new people who joined up this today. They're saying, yeah, I did the test. That was pretty easy to pass. They just like hold something up to you and it tells a color. What were you? And one guy says, I was chaotic. That's no surprise, right? They're like, yeah. And he says, I was pretty surprised. They read me as lawful. And I was like, what are you talking about lawful? And they said, no. Don't worry. That doesn't mean you follow laws. That means like you're orderly. And if you do your job right, then you could really rise in the organization because we need people orderly. So you got the sense that they're sort of somebody's reading their alignment when they're signing up.
Oh dear. All right. Well, I don't want to go through that.
Curse your goodness.
I don't know that I'm good. I might just be neutral. But okay, so unless there's something else someone specifically has in mind, I'll go back to the gang and again fill them in on what we know.
Yeah, and I'm open to suggestions too. I mean, I'm winging it as much as you are.
Oh, it's asking, can I see on my way, can I see any other manhole covers or similar entrances? Like, do I see any other places that we could drop down?
There are several, but again, you're having a hard time associating them with the
Is it possible for me to go up one that's relatively close
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and then just see where I am and call everyone over to it?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You do that. You go up one that's relatively close. You make some good marks with your chalk, good subtle marks, and pop up and sort of orient yourself and find the rest of the gang. Yep.
All right. So we know where they are. And I know there's, 30 plus of them, but beyond that, I couldn't tell you. So I don't know that we're any better off than we were.
Do we, what do you think about drawing them out?
With fire.
What is that you
I
were?
was thinking,
what is
I was
that you were
thinking more
saying
like a
about the-
concert. I was thinking a concert.
Hold on, John. What were you saying?
Well, I was just asking Breezy in character. What was that you were saying? You overheard about the way that they inspect you magically.
They show you something and they see a color and they told one guy he was chaotic and another guy he was lawful.
I break out my my book and I flip through the pages frantically and find, I say, look, I've got it. Yeah, Nystul's magic aura. This is actually something that is another one of these spells that was lost to time, and actually I can mask your magical aura to make you appear to be an actual different alignment than you normally would be. I can make you appear to be evil, if that was intriguing to you, if we thought that was helpful.
Well, I don't know. Again, does my joining the gang help us at all?
Yeah, maybe not. It's just a thought.
I mean, we know where they are. We don't know where the leader is particularly, but any version of going down there just means like punching through chaff, right?
You make a good point.
I'm open to suggestions. Muted.
I'm open to punching through chaff.
Sorry.
This is where the octopodemos need
I
an
guess I don't
executive.
know.
Melvin,
Yeah.
Melvin, what's going on? What's the thinking?
I think we should escape.
Damn it, we left him with
Dang it.
Ariel's wife. Left her with Ariel's wife.
Okay, so one option is to go off on some quest to find the storm giants. And we have some hints, but we don't know where they are. Another one is to find a hill giant here to fight, but we've got them pretty much under control. Can we take on 30 members of a gang?
We have a Holocaust cloak.
Does that lead us?
Gravrek's been specializing in fighting gangs recently.
Does that lead us to their boss?
I'm pretty sure either through an enthralling performance or a suggestion, we can get to their boss.
Could Breezy tell him about this great new entertainer he's heard of?
I think if Brambreck leaves one of those manhole covers open, and there just happens to be a concert right outside, somebody will pop up.
Let's go with it.
Tonight's the night. Make it happen.
Right. Sure thing.
So I'm
Are
pretty.
you waiting till the
sure it-
evening, or doing this ASAP, or waiting till the night, or what?
Waiting for the night.
What do we know about the time frame that these guys normally operate on? They go and collect their food. What time in the afternoon?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say they're all feeling pretty good about having come back, shaking people down. So they're going to be in a pretty jolly mood. They probably have some adult beverages down there with them, I'm guessing. So that's probably what, around 6 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah. At this point.
All right. So I mean, they're probably in a pretty good mood. They'd probably be pretty stoked to hear some music. So let's do it. Let's do it now.
Okay. Great. Is anybody else performing? Is it just drums?
Oh, I can play other instruments with my feet.
Rax should sing. He's not here to defend himself.
Melvin was
He got-
the leader.
He's got the metal. Thrax has the metal attitude.
Maybe Ariel could provide us some rainbow-colored background or something.
Pyrotechnics.
Not sure if you're picking up on your audience exactly.
He
I don't know. Could be.
doesn't have to use. Okay, maybe he doesn't need to
He's gonna
use all
roll
the
a
colors.
30 anyway.
You know, I may be a one-trick pony, but I think I recall that arm wrestling matches are always successful among this kind of crowd.
Oh,
You're not wrong.
yeah.
That's
You're not
actually
wrong.
that's a good idea. Why don't we have it? We could have Brambreck and Thrax doing an arm wrestling competition, and while I've got the drums going, get their attention.
Still, my mental image of Brambreck is always of him covered in heavy full plate armor, like a full-on knight.
Yeah.
Is that an advantage or a disadvantage in an arm wrestling match? I figure that if I get him down a little bit, then all that extra weight from the greaves and stuff is going to pull it on down.
All right, so start your performance. Give me a performance check, Neil.
Performance check. Ooh, only a 16.
Okay, you're doing pretty good in skill, and you're doing even better in volume. You're some of the locals are sort of looking out their window. They're sort of unsure if this is some celebration, something to be happy about, or if it's just going to bring more trouble. But the some of the X-Men gag start coming out of the manhole, and the locals close their windows, and they're gathering around. They bring their BYOB, bring their beers with them, and they're sitting around listening to this performance and enjoying what they hear.
So as these guys come up,
Is
Do I-
Fillmore Sea Breezy?
can
Anyone
I?
see Breezy? Sure.
Hang on a second. I'm about to sneeze again. And of course it passed. So can I perceive anyone as like being the leader of the group that's come up?
Uh,
There it
Here we
is.
go.
they're pretty homogenous. If some of them are higher ranking, they're not acting like it. It's
So
like a
I'll-
happy hour.
Yeah. I guess I'll. Yeah, I'm in the middle of it, so I will. I'm going to choose the three that seem to be enjoying it the most and cast an enthralling performance on them.
Is that how it works? You have to choose three. You can't just enthrall everybody.
It says you can choose 3 creatures that watched and listened to you perform for a minute.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Um, wisdom saving throw against your spell save. What's your spell save DC?
Well, this thing says 15. Wisdom.
All right. Yeah. 2 of them are just blown away by what you do. I mean, and there's probably a dozen or more of them out there at this point. But of those 3 you targeted, 2 of them are like really raving about you.
So,
And what about the rest of the group? Are you making the rounds? Are you meeting people? You hanging out by yourself? Telling people you're with the band?
Kissing babies, you know.
I'd like to ask Breezy if he'd like me to go ahead and obscure his aura just in case they do want to talk to him and interview him at some point.
I don't
This
think
spell will
that's
last
gonna-
24 hours, but
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that there's any, I mean, you can certainly, if it doesn't cost you anything that might matter later, but I just don't see that the plan currently is me to go sign up with the Red Jackets.
well, just in case they are
Yeah.
looking for
Sure.
confirmation if this other thing doesn't work. So I'm going to make you look evil.
All right.
You're not
sounds
going to
good.
really be evil. You're just going to look it.
To the trained eye.
I think Thrax and I throw down a couple pieces of copper and start doing some arm wrestling and taking all comers.
Yeah.
right. All right. I want each of you. Well, Brambrack first. Give me a strength check.
Is that just strength plus whatever my modifier is?
Yeah. Roll and add your strength.
19.
This one got a 19. You're neck and neck. Roll again. Ooh.
16.
Yeah. You take him down. It took you longer than you thought, but you take him down. You rolled a 3 plus something.
All right. Thrax is doing the same thing.
All right.
If anyone is taking a dwarf on, right? You never
Oh.
know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Your
17.
opponent got a 21.
Oh no!
Like, take that, dwarf! Ah! But they're happy. They're liking you. They're liking you a little bit more than that Goliath that took their pennies.
Oh
I
well.
want to challenge the guy who beat Thrax.
There we
All
go.
right. All right. Well, he's gonna add an extra D4 to his roll because he's obviously good.
Yeah.
Ooh. He got a 23, man.
Damn, I got a 20.
Phew.
Ah.
Takes it down. He's like, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, a dwarf and a Goliath. You see that? Yeah. And his friends are like, shut the hell up, man. Shut the hell up.
So we say,
But,
hey,
he's
man,
pretty.
that
He's
was-
pretty happy. He likes hanging out. He
we
offers
say,
you
"Hey."
beers.
All right. We try to make friends with them and get information out of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Ask him where he's from, how he met up with these guys.
Like, yeah, I'm from here. I was working on the docks before. And you ever work on the docks? Loading, unloading. That is tough work, man. These guys came to me a couple weeks ago and they're like, man, you're working too hard. Come work with us. And this is awesome. And then the Giants came and everybody says like the Giants are working for us, which is pretty rad. And it's great, man. You should be a part of this.
Yeah, what do we got to do? It seems like pretty good. I mean, we worked hard jobs too. I understand.
Yeah. No, you just hang out. You just tell people like, hey, you need to give us food. You need to give us your money. And they do. And you say the Giants are going to come unless you cooperate. And then we're like the liaison with the Giants and we keep the Giants from eating people. And it's pretty rad.
All right. So Thrax asks, he's like, so how's your boss? And like, how about the big boss? Because I've worked some pretty good jobs, but man, if you get a bad boss, life is no fun.
Yeah, my boss is pretty chill. He's the one who recruited me. He used to work on the docks too. He's a pretty chill guy. But the big boss is this dude with white hair, and he's like really serious. And he's like always wanting to make sure, he's like talking like with these big words and always reading books and making sure things go well. He's saying X wants this and X wants that, and I don't know, man. He's lame, but you don't have to deal with him much.
Does he stay out of your hair most of the time,
Yeah,
or is he
most
like messing around all the time?
no, most of the time you just stay away. He's like in there with his books and his numbers and going back and talking to X and whoever that is, and so he doesn't mess with us much.
That sounds pretty cool. Well,
X
think about it.
is X here?
I think so. I think the major domo guy goes and talks to X like every day or something. Yeah, I think he's somewhere sort of near where we are.
Can we go talk to him?
Talk to X?
Yeah.
No. You don't want to do that, man.
Why not?
Just keep it easy. Like I said, Major Domo is like a real drag. I don't want to talk to his boss. No way. That'd be boring. Stay up here, drink some brews. Why do you want to talk to him? I mean, he got us this cool red leather. That's all I want from him.
So what are the guys who I've enthralled doing?
They're talking to everybody about like how great the performance was, and everybody's like, yeah, it was good. They're like, no, did you see that?
So I want to go up to those guys and hear about, what it's like down in the tunnels
Yeah.
and who their boss is and boss's boss and stuff.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's pretty good, man. We got a nice place to stay. There are no giants under the tunnels, so it's actually been kept up pretty well, not like all this crap up here. And yeah, and our boss, they just sort of tell us, every day they tell us which houses to go and how much food we should get from every house. And so that's pretty easy. They sort of don't want, they don't want to have to deal with you. You just do your job. They don't care. They report to this guy, Major Domo. He's pretty lame. You try never to talk to him. He's always on about rules and stuff. So, similar story to what you just heard.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I
think,
think
as a
we need
party,
to try to meet this Major Domo.
yeah, exactly. I'm with you, John.
What kind of rules is he always on about?
He's like, keep the place clean. Don't let poop pile up in the corners. And that, and sometimes it's weird stuff. It's like you have to take off your left shoe today while you're walking around downstairs. And we're like, why? He's like, don't, because X said so. Don't ask why.
Hmm.
And it's just weird stuff. But then the next day you're allowed to wear both shoes. So.
And I see that you guys all have both shoes on today, so we're not breaking any rules right now.
That was just an example, man. Don't take it too far.
Fair enough. So what happens when somebody breaks the rules?
Well, mostly they just get yelled at, but there have been a couple guys who just disappeared. They're like, we're gonna go talk to X, and
You think they got promoted?
I think they got run out of the city, probably got brought to city walls and told to get the hell away. I think. And we saw him going down into like some sort of inner chamber, but so X probably yelled at him a lot and then kicked him out of the city.
And have y'all ever seen X? That sounds really creepy.
No. I imagine him as like a really fat dude, like really fat. Then the guy sitting next to him was like, no, man, I imagine him as like super muscular, like he's like doing pull-ups every day. That's what I imagine. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, cool.
Well, let's get my fans to take us down and visit with Major Domo.
Okay.
Did you guys swing that? You guys I got to tell you, if you guys wanted to come backstage, I would take you backstage. I'm a fan of yours. I'd like to see your backstage, and that's Major Domo.
Yeah, if that's what you want, all of you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. He's like, but wait, what are you going to say to him? Because I'm going to get in trouble if I just bug him for no good reason.
We'll play for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that. Okay. So, and all of y'all are going.
Yeah, we all play out, and I like pull out my little horn that I bring on the road with me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Brandrick and I threaten to arm wrestle each other.
Okay. So he leads you down there, leads you sort of to more of the inner area than Breezy saw. And again, it's like it's like a dormitory type area. There are some rec rooms, there's eating rooms. The rest of you sort of sum it up and you judge there's like this could hold easily 100 people. But
Are there
he
many people still down there, or have most of them like wandered up into the city because of our play-in?
yeah, there's like 10 or 20 down there.
Okay.
And he leads you to the offices and he knocks on it.
Before we go in, can I ask, like, man, this is really cool. Did y'all build this, or did you find it here?
It's like, I didn't build it. I mean, I don't know.
All right,
I didn't build
cool. Never mind. Dumb question.
it. Mm-hmm. So he knocks on the office door. He says, Major Domo, man, I don't know what kind of music you're into, but we just heard the most awesome concert upstairs, and they wanted to play for you because you're our boss, and we told them how rad you are. And so you see a guy with white shoulder length hair. He opens the door. He looks at all of you and says, very interesting. Please come into my office.
Can I cast Charm Person?
Oh Lord.
You can. Yeah, go ahead.
What are you guys doing? What's that look, AP?
It's a wisdom saving throw, right?
Yeah, 15.
Okay. It appears to take effect. He smiles nicely at you. Okay. Says, come on in. Come on in.
Wonderful.
And you sit down, and there were some guards right outside his door, but you're alone in the room. He sits down and he says, my master has been expecting you. I want to thank you for the service you did for the city. Because as you may know, the previous leaders of Baldur's Gate were very corrupt. They were corrupt. They were doing a horrible job leading the city, and they had to be removed for the good of the city. My master saw that, and he saw the opportunity to improve the city. Says, do you want to say anything at this point, or do you want to let him keep going?
Let him monologue a bit more.
All right. Says, hold on, let me check one thing real quick.
We just kind of nod along, like,
Sure. Where was that? Oh, I know where it was.
Is he like looking at Schmacks in his monk robes or anything, or he like knows exactly who we are?
Oh, good question. No, he's sort of addressing all of you. Well, anyway, he says, yes, my master saw the opportunity to improve things in the city. And he learned, of course, about the monks and the drow plan for this continent. It was obvious to one with such wisdom as my master. it's quite embarrassing that the Lord's Alliance didn't see all this coming. The signs were so obvious. And he also noticed that neither the monks nor the drow seemed to have particularly plans on Baldur's Gate. And they absolutely didn't want to deal with the hill giants. They're so finicky in who they would deal with. They didn't want to spend any time with the hill giants. So my master saw an opportunity to interpose himself between the two groups and take the duty off their hands, agreed to work with the hill giants, and provide improved government to Baldur's Gate. Now, of course, once the hill giants did their duty of throwing out the corrupt members of the corrupt leaders of the town and make way for a much better leader in my master, well, at that point, the hill giants were nothing more than a nuisance. So my master has sent two of his associates to try to stop the hill giants' activities, but our sources tell us that you've taken other steps to stop the hill giants' activities, and that's quite a service. That's as a representative of the new leadership of Baldur's Gate, we thank you for the service. In compensation for your service of stopping the hill giants' attack, I am prepared to offer you the reward of 100 gold pieces and permission to leave the city without being disintegrated. My master's generosity truly knows no bounds. And he pulls a sack that presumably has 100 gold pieces and says, "Thank you for your service to the city."
That's really impressive.
What part?
So you're saying that the Illithid were sent to the hill giants to stop their invasion of the city and did not cause their invasion of the city?
Oh, no. All it took to invade the city was to say, "Come get something to eat."
And who told them to come get something to eat?
I did. Well, they were
For
needed.
the aforementioned reason.
Yeah, they
to
were
help
needed.
you breach the walls and oust the current government.
The
see.
previous government was
And that-
terrible. They were terrible. They were corrupt. They were not serving the city. They were not making anything of the city. They needed to be removed and replaced with my master.
With the intelligent leaders such as yourself that were able to manipulate the hill giants to come here, I'm just befuddled as to why you were not then able to dismiss them and send them away, rather than sending mind flayers into their homestead.
Well, when an animal gets a scent of something to eat, it's hard to dissuade it. Even a friendly dog will bite you if you try to take food away from it. But the mind flayers are very effective at what they do, and you make use of the tools you have, and that seemed to be the best way to dissuade them. I haven't heard from them. I really should recall them now that you come up with this alternate solution. But either way, they'll get plenty to eat.
So he offered us the choice to take gold and leave without being disintegrated.
It wasn't really a choice, really.
Well, right.
The reward. Remember, it's a good thing.
So do we want to throw down and fight this guy right here and now, or do we want to flee and then go? Yeah, okay, yeah.
What did we get a feel for what his agenda was really?
To run the city and represent his master?
Okay. And he was thanking us for taking care of the hill giants?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see.
He sent the Illithids there to take care of the hill giants in a different way, but he understood that you solved the problem in a different way.
Why are you threatening to disintegrate us?
Oh, I'm
Um,
not. Quite the opposite. I said you could leave the city. You could not be disintegrated.
What if we stayed in the city and are not disintegrated? That seems good too.
Sure, if you don't cause any trouble. We
What
find
do you-
we find adventurers tend to bring trouble upon themselves.
What do you know about the Giants' activity in other cities?
Well, we know that was arranged by, as I said, that was arranged by the monks and the drow. It was so obvious. The signs were all there. It's just flat embarrassing that none of the leaders of the other cities could figure it out. But my master, it was obvious to him, seeing all the clues. And so, as we said, we interposed ourselves in the communications between the drow and the monks, so they wouldn't have to worry about Baldur's Gate. And now we're here.
Who's the leader of the drow? Who on the drow side was running the show?
Queen Chinera.
Oh, your master sounds amazing.
He is truly.
Who is this X?
Oh, he's the Lord Xanathar.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow. And is he here in the city?
Oh, yes, he is. Yes.
Is he here in this room?
No.
Okay.
No, he is not.
Does Lord Xanathar have any dealings with a human named Cooper Black?
Lord Xanathar's ways are mysterious even to me. I do not recognize that name.
I sure don't want to get disintegrated.
Well, this worked out very well.
But I also don't want to be forced to leave the city.
Are you from this city? Have you spent much time here? Do you have a particular affection for it?
He likes all cities. He's a city boy.
Well, I do expect the population of Baldur's Gate to increase significantly soon because as of right now, we're the largest city on the continent that is not overrun by giants. So I'm expecting quite an increase in population. And
What are your plans for governance of the city? What are you guys going to do?
the wisdom of the Xanathar will govern us.
What are you gonna
executed by myself and the rest of our comrades.
what happens when the old city leaders come back?
We'll tell them they're not wanted, and if they insist, then I imagine disintegration will be in the future for them. Or perhaps not, perhaps just a slit throat, bashed in head, something like that. But we will tell them they're not welcome, and if they make themselves scarce, that's acceptable. We are not without mercy.
Well,
Well, Neil, are you gonna play for him since we're here?
I think I don't think that'll. The acoustics in this room, it's just too tight. Noise bouncing off in this tight room off of Brambrecht's armor, just it's not going to play well.
Understandable. I'm sorry to hear that because he's still charmed by you, and he thinks you're great.
Doesn't he deserve it? Okay, any other questions we want to ask while he's charmed?
so we've learned the drow and the evil monks, Schmax's order, were the ones who coordinated the giant attack.
Yep.
The beholder was aware of all of this and faked the messages that we came across the other day to keep everybody out of Baldur's Gate so that they could do whatever they wanted. Right?
We
Took over.
we knew
They
where the
took over
monk
thanks
and
to the
the
hill. So they took over thanks to the hill giants. And then they started getting rid of the hill giants.
Do we know where the drow are based and the monks are based? I don't know if we care, but
Monks are based in the east. I know that from Schmacks.
Yeah, on the other side of the desert, right?
And I thought the drow were I thought Drist or somebody told us that they were in some
Underdark, right? But I don't know.
Hey, Jay,
Yes.
that cleric that I was supposed to meet, wasn't that in Baldur's Gate?
Yes.
And I think we went and looked for her first, but she wasn't there because of the hill giants or something.
No, some like demon or something. Something had absconded with her and left like a clue, left like a snow globe.
Okay.
Said like hold it up in the waning moon.
Okay.
Well, from my point of view, you know, I don't really care for cities. I think they're all dens of corruption, and whether this particular corrupt beholder runs this city or the corrupt people that were here before really doesn't make any of a difference to Melvin. So I think I'm going to take my 100 gold pieces and go.
Is it 100 each?
It's it's for the group.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you were being generous.
100 gold pieces. That talk to any peasant that could feed one of them for a year.
How much is
That doesn't even cover our room for last night.
how much does Lord Xanathar expect to make by taking over this city and avoid having to spend to get rid of the hill giants?
Keep in mind,
Would be
we did have our own plan for getting rid of the hill giants. Your plan was superfluous. This is frankly just generosity.
sounds like your plan was superfluous if you want to use big words.
The Xanathar's plans are neither superfluous nor insufficient. They are always the appropriate size.
They're both necessary and sufficient.
Well, why don't we ask to talk to Xanathar?
What's the goal for talking to Xanathar? Like, what do we hope to accomplish when
Be disintegrated, I think. I think that's the goal.
Yeah, that seems like the pathway we're on.
I'm willing to go that way.
Yeah, you can ask.
Yeah, let's talk to Mr. X.
And he says, no, that no. He values his privacy.
So how did you guys know that we dispatched the hill giants?
The Xanathar has his sources. Much information comes in. It led to quite a bit of excitement around the refugee community. Word spread.
Do we know how did he meet Xanathar? Did he say?
He says, we worked together for quite a while. Up in Luskan, we built the two of us built a organization together, and we work well together. Sort of vague.
Yeah.
We know Luskan? Is that a
Yes,
place?
I feel like we do.
It's like a pirate city. It's north of Neverwinter. The city of criminals.
Okay.
The city of criminals operate
Badly.
badly. Graft and corruption.
Sounds like that's what they want to do to this city as well.
Well, do we take our gold and thank him for his time?
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah, let's do that. We can always regroup and figure out something else. I mean, look, we snuck all the way down in here without them knowing. Then we lured all their people out. Like, let's take the gold and go decide what we want to do. Because standing here isn't doing us any good.
I guess the only thing is right now he is charmed.
We could be charmed again.
is a good time to, I mean, maybe he just had a particularly bad roll, right?
I just don't know what way forward looks like from here. Like, I don't know exactly what we're trying to accomplish. We would like to vanquish Xanathar, but
Does Major Domo know anything about the storm giants? For the giants in the other cities?
oh, that's a good question.
Oh, do you have a specific question?
What do you know about King Hecaton and his family?
I know they've been absent. I know that the both the monks and the drow learned that the storm giants had been absent for decades, and that they used that as leverage to get the other giants to do what they wanted to do anyway, honestly, and just use that to nudge them. Well, for the most part, to do what they wanted to do anyway. I believe the drow had other ways of convincing the stone giants, but for the other giants, they just sort of nudged them in the direction of what they would do anyway. The frost giants are militaristic and like invading people. That didn't take much motivation. The cloud giants, they're very high and mighty. They were happy to lord over someone. The fire giants, they were offered, hey, you can forge things in a volcano. And the hill giants were offered what they wanted. So once you gave the permission structure, remove the oversight of the storm giants, the rest just took some nudging.
Brax, did you have a question?
Yeah, what's the story on these weird monks? How did you get in touch with them?
Oh, I mean, as I said, it wasn't so much getting in touch with, it was just Xanathar keeping his ear to the ground, so to speak, and learning what was going on and seeing that they were going to be a power player on the continent and learning about their plans.
Did Xanathar connect the monks and the drow?
No, they were working together previously.
Oh, okay.
And we learned about their plans and saw that they obviously had no plans for Baldur's Gate, and that's when we got in the middle.
How did you get in touch with the hill giants?
Walked in their front door.
Didn't burn it down though.
No, it didn't. It didn't look like it would take. It looked pretty moist.
I'm gonna dispute your fire instinct there.
Is this if we're sort of wondering what to do? Is this a place to call it for the night? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of stymied, but yeah.
Well,
So
I've got to tell you, if I was guilty of in the Hill Giants thing, if I was guilty of sort of having a path in mind and keeping you too close to that path, I can promise you that won't be a problem here because I don't know what you're going to do either. No clue.
well, this is
But
a good chance for us to strategize a little.
You've got 8 brains and I've got 1, so I figure you'll figure out something.
Yeah.
Cool. This was a really good session, Jay.
Was it? Okay.
Even though it was
just one of the, I'm trying to think of the King Hecaton deals with Laryl, or has dealt with Laryl, the head librarian, and the Blackstaff, head librarian, and one more. What's that other one?
The druid at Silvery.
That's the only one that we haven't seen recently, right?
Because I just made it up today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just figured there should be somebody naturey, shouldn't there? But yeah. To answer your question, yeah, you haven't seen them.
So maybe we should go back to Silvery Moon and check in with her, see what's going on with that.
I think that's a great idea.
So does Khalifa have any reaction to what you just learned about the Silvery Moon?
Wait, what did we learn
Wait,
about?
what did we just learned?
Who attacked Silvery Moon?
Oh,
Yeah.
the drow. No, the stone giants, right?
Well,
In conjunction with the drow. The drow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some manner
right.
to control the stone giants, I think Major Domo said.
If he's telling the truth.
Gotcha. No, yeah, I believe. No, yeah. So that's. I think we need to get back there immediately and try to number one, find that lead toward the chief druid that might know how to contact the storm giants, but also to try to go backward up the chain on this drow invasion.
Yes, we also know that Cooper Black was working with the drow in the past, so that might be of interest to Ariel.
Was he?
Yeah, he traded the soul of Gil Sands for something, and I don't know if you figured out what the something is.
Mm.
It was a little tenuous.
Wasn't the black? There was the black spider. I don't remember.
Oh, was Cooper Black behind all that? Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Well, because when you fought the drow, then you found Gil Sands' soul in their possession. So
We knew he had to be connected.
that's how I had to get that there.
Pulling at the drow thread. Sounds like maybe
You
an
showed us
approach.
the Gil Sand smoking gun, the smoking soul in Act 1.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know what y'all are going to do in Baldur's Gate either. But as I said, you have 8 brains and I have 1. So
Yeah, this does seem like a good time for us to take like some time and ponder for this week and see if we can't come up with some plan that makes sense. Again, in light
AJ, I was reading on your face that you thought my plot was illogical.
no.
I was like,
mean,
yeah, it probably is.
we like, I don't know if we could legit be vaporized or not. Like, is that this dude just being a lick spittle, or is that a real thing that we have to worry about?
I think
That's one of the eye beams from beholders is a disintegration ray.
Well, I don't want to get disintegrated.
That would put an end to your day real quick, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, I just don't know how to proceed. Like,
But it's a dexterity check. Breezy's not going to fail a dexterity.
Oh,
check.
you'll be all right then, actually.
well, Breezy rolls badly when things are on the line. So
I mean, I'll admit I have thought, one way this might go is you might fight a beholder. One way this goes is you might not fight a beholder. I'm not sure what that way is, but I am open to the possibility that you'll wrap things up here without a beholder fight. But I'm also open to the possibility that there will be a beholder fight.
I think we should create some Home Alone style traps and get the beholder trapped in them.
in the beholder's lair.
Step on the tar thing. He doesn't have feet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Iron.
Does he open doorknobs where we could put the little hot thing on the doorknob? Charcoal starter.
He uses his telekinetic ray to do that.
Oh,
How many rays does this thing have?
10.
Jesus.
As many as eyes, right?
So, the odds of a disintegration ray coming at you is only 1 in 10. Look on the bright side. You might only get hit by the death ray.
Is this one of those things where you like roll a dice to see what ray fires?
Yep. It's a little ambiguous, but I think I pick who I'm shooting at and then I roll the dice. But other people are saying, no, you roll the dice to see what fires and then you decided who it fires at. I'm like, ooh, that's too mean.
There's also 8 of us though, so you gotta give yourself some advantage.
Oh, I have other advantages.
Don't doubt that.
We have to beard the beholder in his den.
I'm gonna smash this thing.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right. Something
All right.
to do on for sure.
yeah, we'll think about what we could do.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great
Yeah.
week.
Good
Sounds good.
session. Thanks, Jay.
Adios.